Well, hey there, business communication students. This is Mr. Doucette, and I planned a Zoom session for today to discuss with you the individual presentation assignment that is going to be due in 2 weeks. And this is kind of a fairly significant assignment. It's worth roughly 20% of your grade. And it is a significant part of this course because one of the SLOs or student learning outcomes is that you give a business type presentation. So this is my way of kind of fulfilling that student learning outcome. And so I'm going to explain the assignment in detail, and then I'll show you a sample of my PowerPoint presentation that I did. So that way you can know kind of what I'm looking for. And then I'll briefly show you how to record it in PowerPoint. And the PowerPoint is going to be your best option, although some students do prefer to use Google Slides and other methods for creating their presentation, and that's fine. I just can't tell you how to record it with a video, and I'll show you how to do that within PowerPoint so you know what I'm looking for, but you'll have to do it in a different format somehow. I mean, worst case scenario, you could use your computer in your background. You can set up your iPhone or your phone to record you, and you can literally give the presentation while you hit the space bar and the slides change on your screen. You can do it that way, but the way it's done in PowerPoint is you can actually see the PowerPoint slides with your face in a little video similar to what you're seeing now in this video. So I'm going to come down and go ahead and just click, sorry, not announcements, but modules. And I'm going to scroll down to where this assignment is. So this is week number 2, and this is the start your individual presentation assignment. And so here we have the assignment. So basically it's going to be that you're going to record a 5-minute video of you sharing your four most significant life events. And so basically you're probably going to want to make a scratch list. You're going to write down all the significant events of your life, and then you're going to decide which 4 of those are your most significant. And then you're going to create a PowerPoint presentation sharing those significant events with, excuse me, the rest of the class. So this week that you're working on right now, you might want to do that, make a list, and then identify the 4 most significant, and then draft a rough outline. So basically, first thing you want to do is put it all on paper. So come up with your 4 significant life events, maybe make 4 or 5 or 6 little statements underneath each one to kind of what would you talk about with that first significant life event? What would you talk about with the second life event? So you're making kind of a bullet list of an outline of what you would say about each one of those items. And then, so you have your 4 items, you have what you're going to say about each of those 4 items. And then you want to begin to create some PowerPoint slides for each one of those 4 significant life events. So basically, you're going to want to have, as it says right here, a title slide. So this would just be your name and the assignment and the term and all that. So Business 88, your name, what assignment this is, individual presentation assignment. And then you're going to have second slide would be a navigation slide. Now, a navigation slide is a slide that kind of tells your audience what you're going to be talking about in this presentation. So this is where you would basically reveal your 4 significant life events. I'm going to first talk about my marriage. I'm going to first talk about my birth of my child, or second, I'm going to third talk about my career. I'm going to fourth talk about my education. So they're all laid out in one slide. It's back to what your book talks about telling them what you're going to tell them, right? So the outline of any presentation is tell them what you're going to tell them, then in the conclusion, tell them what you've told them. So this is the tell them what you're going to tell them. That's the navigation slide, and it's a chance to reveal your 4 significant life events. And then your third slide then would be your first significant life event on its own slide. So you'd have the title of the significant event, maybe some pictures, and then you would have a list of things that you want to talk about. And so make sure that your list is following the 6x6 rule. And you might want to look that up in your book, but it's basically 6 bullet points with no more than 6 words in each bullet point. And then you're going to build those bullet points as you're talking. That means they're going to not appear all at the same time. They're going to appear as you're talking. You'll hit the space bar. One of them will appear. You'll hit the space bar again. The next one will appear. And that's what we call building your slide. So basically, you can make the whole slide and then you can set it up in PowerPoint to animate so that it builds your slide as you press the button or as you hit the space bar. That's what I mean by builds. And so you're going to have the four, so then you're going to have a title slide, a navigation slide, then 4 slides for all of your 4 significant events. And then you're going to have your conclusion slide, which is either going to be recapping what you've just talked about. Remember, tell them what you told them, or it's going to just be, you know, thank you for your time. And does anybody have any questions? Either way, you should always ask questions at the end. And so again, this is what you should use. You should use a navigation slide. You should use bullet points and builds on each slide. And then make sure your font size is not too small. That's where most students go wrong. It shouldn't be any smaller than 28, maybe 30. So don't make it 24 or 18. It should be large enough, and you can change the font size as you create your slides, and then be sure to follow the 6x6 rule. So that's building your presentation. Again, make an outline first, then start creating your slides, then create your entire PowerPoint, add the animations, add the transitions between slides, whatever you want to do, it's all done. And I'll show you how to do that in PowerPoint. And then once you're done, you're going to record yourself. And that's what I say here next week. So add transitions, any pictures or graphics to your slides, finalize your slides, and record yourself giving the presentation as a video. And then you're going to, once that's done, you're going to upload that video to Canvas for your assignment submittal. So again, your presentation must have a video of you presenting. And the easiest way to do that is to use PowerPoint. Here's the instructions on how to do that. And so I will go over that in a minute when I open up PowerPoint to show you my presentation. But you can do it by opening PowerPoint. Once you go to slideshow in PowerPoint, there's an option. Once you start the slideshow, there's an option to record, but right next to that is a button for turning on and off your camera and turning on and off your microphone. And once you turn on the camera, if you have a camera on your computer, it should show up with your picture in a little box somewhere on the screen. So here's the presentation guidelines right here. And by the way, if you can't do it, you're having trouble in PowerPoint or you're having trouble uploading it, you might want to also create, or you can also do it in YouTube, and you can have YouTube shoot the video for you in that platform. If you have an account, if you don't, you can get a free account. Those are all options for you to record it. But it should be 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 5 minutes, no longer or no shorter. If you go over by 1 second, I start deducting 30 points per minute. If you go under by 30 seconds, you start losing 5 points for every 30 seconds. So keep that in mind. You want it to be right between 4 minutes and 30 seconds and 5 minutes. You'll be graded on the quality of your slides, whether or not you followed the guidelines for presentations that your book describes, as well as what you're learning in the discussion posts about do's and don'ts of business presentations, that you're utilizing what you learn, and then the quality of your slides, how well you presented. I don't really care a whole lot about the content because it's your story and we all want to hear your story, but I am going to grade you on how professional you were, how professional your slides were, and how well you presented in the presentation. Once you complete your presentation, you must view and also comment. Once you've uploaded it and you're finished and you have uploaded it, then you also must comment on 2 other students' presentations, at least 50-word comments, and then I'll grade yours. That's a must. If you don't do that, you'll lose 10 points for not commenting on other students' presentations. So everything is due in this class for this particular session on the 7th of April. And that leads me then uploading it, just so you know, you can upload it by simply hitting reply down here at the bottom. If you click reply, as you can see on your screen, it's going to allow you to attach a document right here. You can choose the file by navigating to it and attaching it. But I do want to warn you that when you go to upload it, many times it doesn't upload. It'll just spin. It'll say submitting and never submit. So if you have problems with that, it's not working and you've tried it a few times, you can either upload your finished PowerPoint to YouTube and then copy the link and paste the link, or you can email it to me. At least if I get it, I know that you've done it, and then we'll figure out how to get it uploaded so that way you can comment on other students as well. So that's the plan. So let me show you my presentation. I'm going to open it up. This is only the PowerPoint. I don't have the I don't have it recorded, but I'm just going to show you my 4 significant life events to give you a feel for what it looks like, and then I'll show you here in a minute how to use PowerPoint. So this was done a while back, but I'm going to go ahead and start my show. So the first thing here is, my name is Eric Doucette. This is my 4 significant life events, business communications, fall 2020, in no particular order. My first significant event is getting hitched. My second significant event is touring the world. My third is being on mission for God. And then the fourth is down by the river. So let me talk about my first one, getting hitched. So I was married on July 1986 after knowing my wife, my now wife, for 7 months. We've been married almost 38 years this year. There's a picture of us on our wedding day. I had long hair like a rocker dude. That was us about 10 years ago. And then in 1990, we had my first son, Andrew. And in 1995, we had my daughter, Miranda. Actually, I only have one son and one daughter. And there's a picture of us also about 10 years ago. They're both now married because in 2018, we had our first wedding, which was my daughter. And she got married and I got to officiate the wedding, which is very exciting. And then my son, at this time of this recording, was still at home. But since then, it's not on this PowerPoint, but he's also married. And I got to officiate his wedding as well. Touring the world back in the 80s, I was into the hair metal bands of the 80s, and I actually was in one myself. We were a Christian band. That's a picture of us. I'm the second from the left. And I was a drummer in this band. Hairspray was our friend. We used to pull our hair up and spray it, make big bouffant hairdos. There's a picture of us playing. I'm playing bass in that picture. We got to perform all around LA. We played at churches. We played at little Christian clubs and different outreach things in the city. Our band's name was Spectra. Right there is our name, right below Guardian. And 30 years later, they mentioned us during a podcast that was on some radio station, major radio station. They mentioned our band because we were so unique and bizarre. We had colors and all kinds of crazy stuff we did. And so even though they were actually mocking us, they at least remembered us. So that was pretty cool. And then, believe it or not, after I graduated from high school and I started working in various business type jobs, I ended up actually getting very involved in my church. And so I was eventually raised up and ordained as an associate pastor at Harvest Christian Fellowship. It's a big mega church in Riverside. And I was there for almost 10 years as a pastor. I also was a crusade director for those big, large events they do at the Anaheim Stadium every year. I put those together not only at Anaheim, but also around the country, which was a lot of fun. In 2004, I left and I went out and started my own church out in Grand Terrace. And I also went back to college and got my MBA because I just felt like I wanted more education. So I did that. And that's a little picture of our church from a few years ago. Started teaching at Norco College for quite a bit. And eventually was also teaching at Chaffey and also teaching at Valley College, and kind of teaching all over, but I was actually hired in 2020 at Norco College full-time, but I'm still teaching classes at Chaffey as well as Cerritos College. And then lastly, Down by the River. So I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie, Brother, Where Art Thou? But the scene in the movie, it's with the George Clooney. Great movie. It's based off of Homer's Iliad, believe it or not, Homer's Iliad. But there's a scene in the movie where Delmer, they're on the run from the law because they broke out of jail, and he sees some people down by the river getting baptized. And so Delmer heads down into the water and he got baptized, and he comes out of the water and says, I done been changed. I'm a new man. I'm going to follow the ways of the Lord now. And so he ends up trying to live the rest of the movie, by this new principle of following after God. And that's kind of my story as well. I was, however, raised in a very religious home and very strict religious home for most of my life. And when I was old enough, I kind of left all that. I got involved in sex, drugs, and rock and roll like anyone else my age at the time. And however, my life was unfulfilled and empty, and I just didn't really feel like there was any purpose for life until I went down by the river and I got saved and I became a Christian and started following Christ. And I've been doing that ever since. That was in 1986, so many years. And I've been a pastor for over 20. And also now I'm a full-time professor of business at Norco College. So that's my story. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so that's essentially my presentation. I basically gave it to you. You can go back and look at this, but that's essentially what you're going to do. If you noticed, I built my slides. So let's just take this last one again real quick. And if I start at the beginning, every time I hit the space bar, another item comes up. Picture, an item, And so every time I hit the spacebar, so that way I'm building my slides as I go. And that's really something that you can do very easily in PowerPoint. And I'll show you how to do that right here. So let me move my toolbar for a second. So if you notice at the top of PowerPoint right here, you have some different buttons. So we have one called animations right here. So all you do is you build your whole slide exactly as you want it. So in this case, I just built it exactly as I wanted it. I added a text box, I put that, I added another text box, I put that, I added the picture. So once I built the slide, then what you can do is you can come up here to animations, and all you need to really do is select each item. So let's just say I want down by the river to be there. So I'm not going to do any animations to that. However, all these down here, I want them to come up one at a time. So all you do is you select them or highlight them, and then you come up here to animations and you select animations and then how you want it to appear. So I think I just put it as appear, and then I came to the next one and I did the same thing, appear, and I did the next one. And anyway, I just kept, I kept adding animations to all of my stuff. So I did appear, and then I did the last one, same way, appear. And then what it does is it creates that, and then also the picture. I want the picture to appear. So I select that, and then I did appear. Now there's a thing here called animation pane. If I just select that, it actually shows me what I selected in order. So Brother, Where Art Thou is first, then the picture's 2, and then Raised in a Religious Home is 3. And I can move it around. I might say, well, I want the picture to come up last, or I want the picture to come up first, you know. So however I order it, once I play it, it'll actually play it in the order in which I did it. So and so I can move it around however I want by using this animation pane. But once I get it the way that I want it, then I can play the slideshow. And then every time I hit the button, that's what comes up, each one of these items. So that's how you do an animation. And so you should do that. And then back to real quick, my navigation slide. My navigation slide was the same thing. I just added all these as pictures by inserting pictures. Insert up here, picture. I browsed to a file, I grabbed the picture. It showed up on my screen. I sized it to the size that I want by grabbing the corner. And then I also added a text box. So I went to text box and I just selected that. And it allows me, if you select it, it allows you to draw a text box. So I do a text box, I typed in there hitched. And now I got it. I can resize it by going to home and then resizing and changing the font. So I can make it bigger. You got to select it first. I can make it bigger. And so now I have the word hitched, and then I can just move it wherever I want it. So I just moved it over the top of the box. Once I got the whole slide created, then I just went in and I selected both of these by selecting one and holding the shift bar down, went to animations. I animated it to appear. And then I went to the next one and did the same thing. I selected touring, held the shift button down, selected the picture, selected appear. And I did that for all 4. And then if you notice in the animation pane, I selected that and it came up and it put it in the exact order. So hitched and picture 9 are going to come up together. Touring and picture 13 are going to come up together. On mission and picture 15, and then by the river and picture 17. And I can test it by, that one actually goes too fast. So I can come down here and I can just, I can just play the show by selecting start the show. And then every time I hit the space bar, they all come up. So there you go. That's how you add animations. That's how you do it. So now the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is how do you record it. So let's go back to the first slide, and so let's just say you're all done. You got all the pictures and everything in place and all the animations set up, and now you want to record yourself giving the presentation. So in this case, you would just come here to the record button in PowerPoint, and then if you select record, you want to select from the beginning, and then it's going to open up a record box. So here you're seeing the screen. Now, if you notice, there's a picture of me right here in the corner. So it's taken a picture of me and it's put it in this corner right here. And so when I start my recording, it's going to show my face right there in this box. If you notice, there's a red button at the top. That's the start record button. To the right of that is the camera. So I can turn the camera off or I can turn it on. So if I turn it on, then it's going to have a picture of me. There it is. Then there's the microphone off or the microphone on. So that's also, you want that on. You want the camera on. And then I don't know what this one is. presenter view. If you want to do it as presenter view, you can do it as that. I'm fine with it. And then all you do is you hit the record button and then you start giving your presentation. So when you hit record, it's going to start, and then you can literally step through all of your slides by hitting the space bar. And you give your whole presentation. When you're done, you just select the red button again. Your time will be off to the left in this time feature right here, and it's going to save it as a PPTX file on your computer. So the only question is, where does it save it? I don't know. So you might want to just type in .pttx in your search and you'll find it. Or it might actually, I think what it actually does, I don't want to do it now because I don't want to record it, but it might actually, when you say you're done and you depart out of PowerPoint, it's going to ask you, what do you want to save it as? And then that's when you can save it, the title and where you want to save it. Then once you've done that, you're done. Then you can upload that to the assignment instructions. So that's pretty much it for the individual presentation. I don't really have anything else to add to that. I definitely highly recommend that you read chapter 12 of your book and that you complete, or at least get started on the discussion post on how to, or the do's and don'ts of business presentation, so that you know. But that's pretty much it for this assignment. Again, if you have any questions or issues, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I will be happy to meet with you if needed. But if not, have a great week, everybody. I will be uploading this recording, so that way, if you weren't here, which nobody showed up today, that's fine. You at least have the instructions on the assignment. And I highly recommend you don't wait till next week. Get started right away on at least laying out your presentation and start building your slides. And then next week you'll finish it. All right. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks.